Okay, welcome to another RPG ranked video. I am Brent. A reminder that Brighton is serving the Lord in San Antonio, Texas, and I'll be covering for him for the next little while. Today we are going to be ranking all the classes in Romancing Saga 2, Revenge of the Seven. Just a disclaimer, I am going to have some opinions that people aren't necessarily going to agree with, and that's okay. I would love to hear you guys' opinions. Please share them in the comments. But I will admit I did play and use all of these different classes at some point. I think my preference gravitated towards some, and so you'll see some of the ways that I am biased in games like this, especially going forward. I'm very different than Brighton, and so you'll probably see some of that difference here. So yeah, without further ado, we're just going to start at the beginning. There's 36 of these, and we are just going to go from the beginning down. I thought about doing them in like order of when you get them and this and that, but I figured I'd just keep it simple. So, and the way that I'm going to rank them is not necessarily super scientifically. It's going to be kind of based on the attacks and skills that they get, the abilities that you can master from them, things like that. Just how fun they were to have in my party. Some of them you'll see I didn't like as much. So with that, let's start. So we're going to start with the Amazon. Her ability is called Vigorous Attacker. It adds 10% damage when you are at full health, and so having that can be nice as long as you stay at full health. I wasn't a huge fan of that necessarily. I didn't use it a lot, and so I'm going to put the Amazon at B tier. She just didn't last in my party very long. Fought a couple battles with her. It was alright. I didn't see any super big benefits to having her, so that's kind of where I landed with that one. The Automaton is kind of really cool. So this one really kind of plays to my preference in games like this. So the cool thing about the Automaton is you do not control her. She's a robot. She does what she wants. Now you can kind of make it so she does only certain things by giving her certain abilities or certain skills and limiting that and or potions and stuff. So you can kind of guide her to do certain things, but you don't get to control her during battle. On the flip side, though, she does have 99 LP, so she can die a lot, and she really didn't die a lot for me. The other thing is her ability is called Poker Face, and it's like a ribbon. It nullifies all status ailments and debuffs, and so I don't know. I really liked her. I didn't keep her in my party forever, but I did for a number of generations, and so I'm going to put her in the A. I bet some people could probably use her better than I did, and so I'm going to put her in the A. I never made her my Emperor, and so I didn't actually get a Master Poker Face and stuff, and to use other places. I think I regret that, but it might have been cool. So yeah, I really liked that robot class. Okay, The next one is Corsair, the pirate. I don't know. I used the pirate a lot. I don't know if it's because I liked how he looked or something. I don't know. But his ability is overdrive gauge, and what it does is anytime you hit a monster's weak point, it adds an additional 50% to the overdrive gauge, and that is useful. The way that I played was I really tried to get that overdrive gauge as full as possible, as quick as possible, and then I used combo attacks as much as possible because they get really strong. And so I don't know. I'm gonna put the Corsair in B as well. I don't know. I don't really have any strong opinions on why I liked him apart from the way he looks and I think maybe I'm gonna put the Amazon down one, just because her mastering her ability, the damage plus 10% is nice, but you have to be at full hit points, and that's hard to keep that up. And so, and maybe it's not that hard. It was hard for me. Maybe some people can use some strategy to keep her healed up or keep the character that has that equipped healed up. But I definitely use overdrive gauge more often, and so I'm going to put pirate at B. Okay. The next two, court mage, we have the female and male version, essentially the same apart from their abilities, and this is one that you get at the beginning of the game. It's just a starting class. The female's ability is spell BP reduction, which is useful because it reduces the cost of spells by 20%. And then the male court mage's ability is post-combat BP recovery, which is it recovers 3% of your total BP after battle. The thing about this game is you have to invest in magic early, or that's what I would suggest. If not, spells are pretty weak until you get them powered up. And so I think you need to use these, get these classes in your party soon, and start working on that magic. But there are better mages out there. But these abilities that they have, spell BP reduction and post-combat BP recovery, are ones that I always had equipped it on people. And so I'm going to put these two in the B tier. I had them for a while. Always one of them in my party until we get to another class that I thought was just ultimately better, and then there's even a better one. So yeah. But overall, decent classes. Okay. The Crusader, male and female. We have these two are pretty cool. They are better attackers, but their abilities. The female has the ability healing proficiency, which adds 20% of healing power to healing spells, which is useful at the beginning of the game, I think. And then the male Crusader, whenever he's attacked, he gets the party gets an additional 5% to the overdrive gauge, which is also can be useful. I used them when I had them because you kind of get them, or I got them a little bit earlier in the game, but they didn't stick around long for me. I'm going to put them in C, and their abilities are good for a time, but there's just things that get better. I don't know. So ultimately, I mean, they are decent attackers, and can have some strengths in the weapon department. So I don't know. Next we have Dancer. So here's the thing about Dancer. I didn't get Dancer. I tried. It's a hard one to get. And in fact, I did find one Reddit post where this guy made it really clear on how to do it. So when I play this again, I'll probably just follow that. Like, it's not as hard as if you know what to do, like exactly. Like this guy just lists it out. It's not that bad. But yeah, I didn't get her. Also, it looks like her ability is called Cash Back. I have no idea. I looked over the internet trying to find what that is. No clue. So, I'm putting Dancer in F, not because I don't like her, because I have no idea. And no idea means not useful for me, and didn't help me beat the game. So, F for now. Maybe I'll change it later. Okay, Desert Guard. Desert Guard, it's okay. One of those other ones that, like, you get it, and then you're like, cool, something new, I'm going to go use it. He has his ability is called Provoker, and it relates to counterattack. So it's essentially like Provoker or Provoke or abilities like that in other games where you try to get the enemies to attack you. Now, this only increases the chances of getting hit when you use a counter ability. Now, here's the thing about how I play this game. I never really got into those counter abilities, and so this ability and this class weren't very useful for me. And so I'm going to put, and this is just me because I just didn't master how to use those counters. There's a lot of them, and I kind of would have I love counter attack in most games, just as a passive skill, right? Like, I get hit and I'm going to counter. But in this game, you have to, like, decide that you want to use counter ahead of time. And I'm not great at that. So I'm putting him in F. I'd never use those counters, and so this was not useful for me. Okay, next one is the Diver. Diver's alright. They are strong use of the spear, tridents, things like that. Their ability is auto HP recovery, which can be helpful. It just every time it's your turn, the character's turn, they get 20% of their hit points back. And it's a nice ability, it's a good ability. The only problem is it takes up an ability slot, and unless you're the Diver and you have it mastered. But the Diver, to me, wasn't strong enough to have in my party full time, and the ability just takes up an ability slot. So while it was very useful, beginning, there's other abilities that I wanted in those slots that were better. The other thing about this game is your hit points, you always get full health after battle, right? And so to me, recovering hit points wasn't a big deal. Recovering BP, on the other hand, was a huge deal. Items are finite in the game. You can't just go to an item shop and buy 99 ethers or whatever that restore BP. You have to you can only get so many that you get, and so BP is kind of at a it's just something that I always wanted to have ways to refill that as much as possible. So you'll see how I kind of handled healing, but it wasn't with the Diver. So Diver's going in C. Okay. Now, back to the mages. We talked about the court mages. Now we're at the freelance mages, male and female. Now these ones, and this goes right back to what I was just talking about. I really like these guys, especially their abilities. So they're strong in magic, and until you get the strategist, they're the best option. And so love them for that. But their abilities, the female freelance mage is auto BP recovery, which gives you 2% of your total BP back on a turn when it's your turn. Huge helpful thing, right? So if you think you have like 200 BP total, you're gonna get what, 4 back, and you know that's almost the whole skill in some cases, you know. And so you can really slow down the amount of BP that you're using. There are better ways, and then the male version of Freelance Mage uses Resplendence as his ability, and that one gives you 5% back when you use a basic attack. So this is the one that I really liked, and I almost had it equipped with my main character. Because I could always recover BP in a battle by just hitting, like attacking with whatever weapon I had as a plain attack, recover some BP, and then, you know, spam some big time attacks. So I'm putting the Freelance Mage, the dude version, as an S, and the female version as an A, and that's not me dissing on the female version. I think she's a lot nicer looking. This guy reminds me of the sprite thing in Secret of Mana, if you've ever played that game, the original. I don't know, it's just a weird looking guy. Anyway, I like the female version too, but when it comes to abilities, that ability to recover BP essentially on demand by attacking is huge, and I think I always had that equipped on somebody. Okay, next, heavy infantry. This guy I loved at the beginning of the game. I think I had him in like my party for like 4 or 5 generations. For a long time, he was my second emperor. His name was Walrus. Great emperor. But he gets so he's just huge, like massive defensive guy. Just a tank, right? He gets something called auto parry, which is a 40% chance to parry an attack if you're equipped with a sword. I don't know, that was huge for me at the beginning of the game. And yeah, so I had that equipped. It like saved me in a lot of battles, a lot of time. I was just starting to learn the game, and that was huge. And so I don't know, I really liked the heavy infantry. I use them a lot. I'm going to put them as an A. I don't know, just how I roll. Okay, Hunter. Hunter has one of the coolest abilities in the game, and so I had Hunter as long as I needed to get the ability. After that, it kind of just didn't use it a lot. But the ability is called First Striker, and it's 100% chance to strike first for that character at the beginning of the battle. And so there are some skills that you can get in this game that if you can strike first, you can make the battle really quick. And at one point, I was just like, I don't know that I want to keep doing this. It's making some of these battles too easy. But yeah, First Striker, great ability. Hunter, nah, it's an okay class. I think pretty strong in the bows, maybe in spears. But I had other people by then who I had already trained up in those. But that ability was so important later in the game. So I'm going to put her in the A just for that ability. Her, him, it, the hunter in the A tier. Okay, the Imperial Blacksmith. This one was a bit of a quest to get, but it wasn't too bad. I mean, I thought when you first get the quest to get them, you have to go and find some ore. I thought it would be pretty quick, but it wasn't. Turned out you have to. It takes quite a bit of time, and so I wasn't able to get the blacksmith as soon as I wanted. And I'm sure if I replayed the game, I could do it a lot faster. But like, I was trying not to use guides and things, and so it took me a while to find all those ores. And I had her, and once I got her, I kept her in my party for a while. Her ability is called Smithy. It's a 10% buff to attack and defense, which is very useful. I think I had that pretty much always equipped it on somebody in my party. But yeah, I don't know. I really like the blacksmith. Strong with hammer axes. Not my favorite axe character. But maces. Maces are the hammers. But I usually use maces with my mages. So I don't know. The ability's good, but I'm gonna put her in B. Okay, Imperial Guards. The male and female version. The female has an ability called Tough Hide, and it's a 20% chance of having an attack nullified. So, like 1 in 5, you're just not going to get hit. It's pretty good. But, not... For me, defense, I don't know. I'm not a huge... I like the attack. So, the male version has Critical Striker, which is a 1 in 5 chance of having a critical hit. And so, I don't know. Both pretty good. I can't remember if I know that I had Critical Striker on and used that for a while, but I can't remember if it was like an end game favorite. So I'm putting these two in the B. It's fine. Okay. But those two also are like pretty good offensive characters, and so I like them. Nothing against them, but just not my favorite. As you can see here, I'm pretty I don't give a lot of S's out or A's, but you'll see. Okay, so where are we at now? So the Iris class. Okay, this is the first of a few that I don't like. And that's, as I was kind of preparing for this and reviewing, maybe I think I'm in the wrong here, but it's just not my favorite thing. So a couple of these classes are kind of just like meh, and then their abilities, for this one is Arrow Benison, and it nullifies wind, and it will it essentially gives you protection against wind, and then you'll heal with certain attacks and spells. But it's like only wind. And for me, if I can't do wind, fire, all of them, and just be invincible, that's how I roll with Final Fantasy 4. And I get that cursed ring. I equip the glass helmet and the whatever, and I'm invincible. Any elemental attack cures me. If I can't do that, I can't do any. Right? I don't know. I don't want to be changing things left and right depending on what the battle is or whatever. I just want to set it once and then go into battle and be invincible. So I didn't use any of these, and I'm putting her in the F. Otherwise, they're just not great. I mean, nah. Yeah. Now, I could be wrong. Maybe they're super powerful when it comes to the magical side of things. I don't know. I'm more of an attack guy. I don't get deep into the magic. But if I do, I like somebody who's a little bit more well-rounded. So, okay. The Levant Guard. One of my favorites. These are like samurai, like long, samurai sword type character. As soon as I got this, I think I had my Emperor as this, and I kept it around. Their ability is BP Saver, and it gives you a 20% reduction on any of your techs, your BP techs. So huge, right? Like 20% off. You put that on something like Resplendence, and you're just sipping BP. So this one was one of my favorites. So I'm putting in S tier. I don't know, just strong attacker, strong swordsman, and then that ability is just really nice. Okay. Next one, we have the light infantry, male and female. The female, these are two that you get at the beginning of the game. Female has an ability called Swift Combatant. It's like a 30% chance of acting first in battle. It's a weak version of the Hunter's First Striker, which is 100%. And so it's nice at the beginning, but yeah, I don't know. It doesn't really add anything. So apart from somebody that you can put in your party that's different. And then the male version, I think, is worse, though. They have something called Light as a Feather, and it just makes your armor and weapon weight is 0, and so your speed is huge. That's really helpful for another one of these classes. Who's next? The martial artist. The faster the martial artist is, the more powerful his bare hands are. And so, but I can't ever afford to equip that and only get the benefit of being, a little bit faster. So, I don't know. These light infantry's weak, scrawny, I don't know. Okay, martial artists. Here's the thing. I was looking online, and not a lot of people like the martial artists. They're like, oh yeah, it's good for a little bit, and then it's worthless. I had the martial artists in my party forever. I don't know. I'm a huge monk fan of monks. Just like Empty Hands. I don't know. I love the martial artists. Their ability is Attack Damage Plus. It just does 10% more damage when you use techs. That's just a bonus for me. The techs that you learn with bare hands were awesome. Some like Ryukin type things. You had some fire, holy damage. I don't know. I had a martial artist in my party, and then my Emperor always had all the martial artist abilities. I don't know. They're just my favorite. So S tier. If I had done an S plus, it would have probably been an S plus. I think that's going to get me a lot of comments that say you're crazy. That's okay. I am a little bit crazy. So love the martial artists. Always had them in my party. Always, I don't know. They have some cool healing abilities that you can heal yourself. You can berserk. I don't know. I just love it. Okay, mercenaries. The male and female versions. These are useful at the beginning of the game. They have abilities: max BP up, which is 10% bonus to your BP, your max BP, and max HP up, 10% max to your HP. Useful at the beginning of the game. And you know, I mean, they look awesome. They're cool. You know, I like them. Mercenaries, especially this dude, eye patch, whatnot. Cool looking guys. Kind of remind me of like a rock star, sort of. I don't know. They're alright. They're good. They're good at the beginning of the game. I use them a lot more than light infantry at the beginning of the game. I don't know. Their abilities were a little bit better to me. I don't know. But once you get a couple of these other ones, you're like, yeah, move on. Okay. The mole. The mole is just like the iris to me. It's one of those ones. It has tarot benison, which nullifies earth and all that fun stuff. You've heard my spiel. I don't know. I was hoping that it would be awesome, and I don't know, because it, you know, mole, it's kind of new and cool, and a great inventor sort of thing, right? But yeah, I'm putting an F because I don't want to use that ability for specific bosses or battles, right? I don't want to change things in and out all the time. I just want to get my party and roll. Same thing with the Nereid. She has Hydro Benison, just water nullification. Meh. Okay. The Ninja. I'm a huge fan of ninjas in most games. And I know that the ninja is good in this game. I just know it. I just didn't have enough room in my party to have the ninja as a constant person. It's like ninja or martial artist. I'm going to martial artist. But the ninja has the ability analysis, and it excuse me. It adds an increase of 15% damage to an enemy's weakness. And then I know the ninja's like stats are like awesome. And so I was super excited to get the ninja, and then I was just like, I don't know how it really fits in the party that I was playing. But, and you know, she kind of looks like Yuffie. I was hoping for like Black Mask, you know, like Shadow Ninja. So I don't know. I think Ninja, at least if we're just looking at her ability of analysis, it's really good. Because, yeah, like more powerful damage to those weaknesses means more of the overdrive gauge getting filled up, which just means more damage overall. I'm going to put her in the A. I bet it's closer to an S. And I probably should have done S plus and all this, because we're getting a little bit full here, but no, it's okay. Okay, the Nomads. Okay, here's another one I'm going to probably get cooked on comments, but I love these two, the male and female, and they acted as my healers and strong attackers. So here, let me explain that. So the female nomad has something called Chemist, which doubles the recovery from items. So that's can be pretty powerful when you're using a potion that normally heals 500, but now heals 1,000, right? But then you pair that with the male nomad's ability, which is called Waste Not, Want Not. And that has a 70% chance of not using the item after you use it. And so, in my game, I had a nomad in my party. It was the male nomad. He was my healer, and he healed with potions. And a lot of times I didn't use any potions to do that healing, and he healed a lot. The other thing with the nomad, at least in my game, the way that I played it, he was huge with axes, and he had, there's an axe ability that just instant deaths, like the whole enemy field. It's OP, like amazing, great. There's also an axe throw one that as your axe level grows, increases, the number of like axes you throw increases, and it's like 5 BP or something. It's like really low, maybe 7, maybe 3. I can't remember, but it's not that much. Like huge, right? And then when I needed him to heal, he was there. So I don't know. I'm gonna get cooked for this, I know, but as for both of these, like I love the Nomads. Okay. Now let's go over to Rangers. Rangers are other ones that you get at the beginning of the game. Their abilities relate to inflicting status ailments, which I'll admit I'm not a big status ailment person. Like support magic sort of thing. Nah, I just don't do that. Probably makes games less fun, and probably should do that, but you know, I pass on those. You know, Blue Dragon, I just didn't use a lot of support magic. You know, FF1, I'm not the guy that uses, you know, haste, you know, tack up, whatever. Just don't do that. I don't know. It's just not too complicated for me. I'm old. So, I don't even know that I even had these people in my party ever. I mean, I did to just try them out, but I got tired of them real quick. The female ranger has something called Corruptor. It's a 50% increase of chance that status ailment will affect the enemy. So if you're big into you know, doing things like that, poisoning enemies, putting them to sleep or whatever, 50% chance increase. And then the male ranger has something called the Ruiner, which increases elements and debuffs for 2 additional turns. I can see them being good for somebody, but for me, just not. I don't know. Let me know why I'm terrible in the comments. Okay. The SaGa Clansman, he has kind of a cool ability called Survivor. It's kind of like Phoenix, or that thing that Kane gets in the augment that Kane gets in FF4. Actually, I don't know if he gets it or if I just always put it on him. Essentially, if you die, you come back to life with 1 HP. The tricky thing in this one is it only works if you have at least 30% of your hit points before. So if you get hit by a huge spell on a boss that wipes you out, you're not going to die completely. It can be useful. He's also pretty strong, I think, with axes and things, and martial arts, so I like that about him. I use him for a couple generations, I think, just to get that survivor ability. I think I had that on for a little bit, but ultimately I don't think I kept it on. Just, I don't know that it was worth the spot. So, but I liked him. I'm putting him in A. I don't know. Okay, Salamander. Okay, so full disclosure, I totally failed the Salamander quest. I was trying to get the special magic, the like astro magic, but I did something wrong, and so I didn't get that. I didn't get Salamander. I failed completely, but I wasn't sad to see that he's just like a pyro benison. I feel like I read that most people are like, don't get him, get the magic instead, and that's what I was aiming for anyway, because I started to get huge into magic on this game a little bit late, probably later than I should have, but magic became really kind of cool, and we'll talk about that in a second. Anyway, Salamander, F. I just, one of those guys, again, nullify fire, I don't know, probably awesome. If you know, like, if you could totally. I had the game on the hardest mode for most of the classic mode, whatever, for most of the time, and I don't know, it was fine. Some of the battles were really hard, and I had to fight them over and over again. Mostly the boss battles, you know. But, you know, I'd get it in a way where I get my overdrive and then boom, just wipe them out eventually. And it was fine. Some of them I had to decrease the difficulty for, because I have no idea how anybody beats it. I mean, they just go like 3 times in a row, and it's like boom, 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 like you're toast. I don't know. But maybe somebody who's good, better than me, could, you know, figure out a way to use these benisons and put them on people and you know, just become immune to these crazy attacks that some of these bosses did. That wasn't me though, so I don't know. So I put, you know, again, tell me why I'm wrong in the comments. I appreciate any insight that people have, and we'll use it for the next time I play through it. Okay, Strategist. Strategist is the best, at least for me, it was the best, and the guy that I use as my mage. Strategist has something called Spell Damage Plus. You get 10% additional damage with spells. Spells in this game are awesome for attacking lots of enemies. At least that's what I use it for. Like, I want to hit a bunch of enemies, I'm going to use spells. And I'm going to use my strategist to inflict them. They don't... I mean, I think I had him with bare hands. Maybe a mace. I didn't ever use attacks with him. Just always. The tricky part is you got to get that... You got to equip something to him that recovers BP. And I think I had one of those that you get BP after battle. Let's see, what was that called? Oh yeah, the posts, the court mage, male court mage's ability, the post-battle BP recovery. So I had that on him, and so his BP would would generally stay pretty solid. But yeah, love the strategist. Very high-powered mage, and yeah, it was very, very nice. Okay, then we have the Vagabonds, the Thieves. I was super excited for these ones when I first got them, because I was hoping that we'd be able to steal awesome things in the game. I can't remember stealing anything that was like amazing. Yeah, I don't know, but the female version has Scavenger, which just means sometimes after battle you'll get twice as much loot. It's alright, I guess. The loot wasn't awesome, though. I don't know. I mean, maybe there's some things that give you amazing things. I didn't find anything really. And then the male version had Cat Purse, which I used a lot because I really love the mug ability, right? In FF6, whatnot. I can't just steal and have that be my turn. Like, I have to steal and do some damage, otherwise I don't feel right about it, right? So I gotta have mug on. And this one was a Cat Purse has a 15% chance of stealing when you attack, and so I used it for a little bit. It just wasn't great in the end. Like, I don't know, the things that I got were just not amazing. So now again, somebody might correct me and say, hey, there's you get these crafting items so much more if you steal them or whatever, but I didn't see that in my game. So I'll put them in C, just because they, kind of fun to explore that at the beginning. So that's my ranking. I don't know. Looks pretty good to me. I'm sure it's way different than a lot of people, and I would love to hear everybody's thoughts and where they put things. I don't need to hear anybody telling me I'm stupid. I already know. You can just let me know what you rolled with when you played and what you guys like to do. I think it just depends on how you play and stuff. But yeah, so I think I will maybe do one more ranking video for Romancing Saga to Revenge of the Seven, and then I'm moving on to Fantasian. I've been playing that for about 30 hours now. Really love that game. Excited to make a video about it, a couple videos about it. So far it's been crazy. Story-wise, like, into the game, I don't know. I'm sure a lot of you have played it already, but yeah, anyway. So yeah, if you like this video, please comment, please do the things that you're supposed to do, and thanks for being patient with me as I figure all this stuff out. Hope you enjoyed, and have a great day, and peace out, RPG nerds, as Brian always says. We will see you next time, and yeah, see ya.